Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with Iowa gun owners, and I have some great news for gun owners across the state. The Second Amendment Preservation Act has been written, it's been revised, it's been fixed, it's good to go. It's now in the hands of our lead bill sponsor, Representative Jeff Shipley, and that means that your state rep can now co-sponsor this vital legislation that we need so badly here in Iowa. If you're pressed for time right now, whatever else you do, hit the link below and tell your state rep to add his or her name onto SAPA as a bill sponsor or co-sponsor. Again, the bill is literally on the desk of Jeff Shipley right now. Here is Jeff Shipley. For those who don't know, he is from Fairfield. He's been there for quite some time. He's been a leader in the fight for gun rights for a very long time. We're very proud to have him as a lead sponsor on this bill. SAPA legislation is very simple. I'm going to break it down for you in 4 or 5 simple points. SAPA protects gun owners here in Iowa the next time a Democrat is in the White House and wants to use our own cops to enforce federal gun control laws. At a certain point, it doesn't matter how pro-gun Iowa is. It doesn't matter how many gun bills we've passed into law here in Des Moines. If the president can simply point to our cops and say, you go enforce federal gun control laws against Iowans. That's the problem we have with Joe Biden, and that will be the problem we have the next time a Democrat gets their foot inside the White House. Now is the time to get this done. So what SAPA does is it tells Iowa cops to only enforce Iowa law when it comes to firearms, ammunition, and accessories. So it's very clear. We want Iowa cops to put bad guys in jail. However, we don't want them to be used by an out-of-control president to enforce federal gun control laws. That's what SAPA is all about. They work for Iowans. The General Assembly passes laws for Iowans, and our cops are funded by Iowans, and we want them to enforce Iowa law only when it comes to firearms, ammunition, and accessories. Number 2, it prevents liberal department heads, because let's be honest, we have them right here in Des Moines and across the eastern part of the state for sure. It prevents liberal department heads from skirting SAPA law and loaning out Iowa cops to be a part of a joint federal task force to enforce federal gun control laws. How this usually works is ATF or FBI, they'll grab a couple Polk County deputies over here, a couple Des Moines City cops over there, a few troopers over here. They have themselves a 15, 20-man task force. And from there, 2 or 3 feds control 15, 20, 24 Iowa cops. They can then go enforce federal law. What we've seen in other states is where the lawmakers will say, well, we don't want our cops to enforce federal gun control if they're paid with our dollars, but if they're on a joint task force and Uncle Sam pays them, that's okay. We disagree with that. I'm sure you do too. So this bill clearly states that Iowa cops may not be used on a joint federal task force if the purpose is to enforce federal gun control laws. Number 3, SAPA law has civil penalties built into it. And this is a very important component because we can almost guarantee we're going to have certain mayors, certain police chiefs, certain subdivisions in Iowa that want to violate this law and help the next Democrat president enforce federal gun control. If that happens, there has to be a response. Now, way back in the old days, 2009, 10, that kind of thing, the idea of the Firearms Freedom Act was all the rage. The problem with that concept was it counted on the governor or the attorney general or somebody in authority to enforce a violation. What we've done here with SAPA is removed that from the equation and said that if your gun rights are violated by an agency who willfully and unknowingly violates SAPA law, you could then sue that department, not the individual cops. We're not suing cops, but that department, that subdivision who ordered them to enforce that law in civil court for damages. That is the kind of teeth that we need here in Iowa. Number 4, SAPA law protects Iowa cops. I talk to cops all the time. I don't mean for speeding tickets. I haven't got one of those in a long time. I mean right here in the Capitol. I talk to troopers all the time. The last thing they want to do is to be used by Joe Biden in his 4 years in the White House, or looking forward by the next Democrat in the White House to enforce federal gun control laws. They don't want to be a part of that, but they're not sure what to do because they can either A, refuse an order, I guess, from their department head, or they could B, lose their job. SAPA protects our frontline cops. They can simply say, I'm sorry, I can't enforce that Iowa SAPA law says that I cannot do it. Now, you may be asking yourself, didn't Missouri pass this and didn't the courts strike it down? The answer to that question is yes, they did, and yes, they did. But here's the rub. So I was involved in the operation in Missouri. I know what happened there in the courts, and the Eighth Circuit had a problem with the intro language to Missouri's SAPA law. That's the problem they had with the law. They had no problem with the idea of the state not helping the feds enforce federal gun control. They had no problem with civil penalties that would force department heads to obey the law. Their only issue was the language in the introduction to the bill. What we have done with this bill with Jeff Shipley now is we have removed that introductory language to take out the section that the court may find objectionable. We're very confident that this version of SAPA will not only accomplish our objectives in defending gun rights, it'll also keep us out of a lawsuit. And let's just not forget, we also have a new president, a new attorney general, a new Department of Justice. We're highly dubious of the idea that we're going to get sued as a state and drug into federal court by the Trump Department of Justice. Now is the time to get this done. Missouri has already redrafted their SAPA law. It already passed through committee, moving very fast to our south. Over in to the west, Wyoming just passed SAPA out of the Senate chamber just days ago in a 29-1 almost unanimous vote. States are realizing this is what we need to do to keep us safe from the next Democrat in the White House. It's time to get this done, guys. Help us do it. Hit the link below. Tell your state rep to co-sponsor SAPA law. It's currently in the hands of our lead bill sponsor, Representative Jeff Shipley. More to come, guys. Take care. Have a great day. Hey, guys, IGO is fighting hard to make sure our children's children have a right to keep and bear arms. Get involved in this fight today. Number 1, follow us on Twitter. Number 2, sign up for text alerts from us. And number 3, like and subscribe for more content.